Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'll be talking about off-axis guiding, and I'll show you how I improved a newly released SvBony SV238 Off-Axis Guider by adding an electronic focuser to it. SvBony sent me one of their OAGs for review purposes, and I've used it for a couple of months now. In the video I'll share with you my overall thoughts about this OAG first, and then I'll show you the adapter that I made. Now let's start with SV238. At first, SvBony SV238 looks like many other off-axis guiders you see on the market. It has a threaded connection on the telescope side and a screwed connection on the camera side. It has a helical focuser, which is done nicely and in the same way as other options. However, there are a few things that make SV238 stand out compared to other manufacturers. First is the prism size. It's a generous 8x14mm, which is larger than what a lot of other manufacturers offer at this price point. That makes it great for larger guide camera sensors, giving you better light capture. The second thing is its versatility. SV238 comes with two mounting plates, one with M48 thread and the other one with M54 thread. In addition, you get some adapter rings, which open up a lot of connection possibilities depending on your telescope, camera, or other gear that you use to build up your imaging tray. This is how everything looks assembled in my case. I got the off-axis guider connected using M54 thread to the reducer, then there is also a spacer, Wanderer Astra filter wheel, and finally my main imaging camera. When you're setting up this OAG, you need to keep in mind that its thickness varies depending on which mounting plate you choose. With M54, you're looking at 17.5mm, while with M48, it's going to be 16.5mm. That's a really important factor if you're aiming for the standard 55mm of total back focus distance. In my previous configuration, I used TopTech off-axis guider with TopTech guide camera. However, on this one, I ran into a problem of achieving focus with TopTech and SV238. And the reason behind that is the shape of the TopTech camera. And as you can see, guys, I'm going to put it closer, the shape of the TopTech just doesn't let you to put this camera deep enough into the focusing train of SV238 compared to ZWO, and because of that you cannot focus these old versions of the TopTech cameras, but any slim versions of ZWO, SvBony, QHY, and also new versions of TopTech cameras, they will work really well with SV238. And also the reason behind that, if I place this TopTech off-axis guider and try to locate the end of the circle of the TopTech together with SV238, you guys can definitely see that SV238 focuser is located much higher compared to TopTech, and that's basically the reason. In order to focus SvBony's version, you need to put your sensor much deeper into the imaging train of the off-axis guider. With the TopTech, it's not an issue since the helical focuser is located lower. With SvBony, yep, that's something that you gotta deal with. And the point here, guys, if you already have a guide camera like that, then it's likely it's not going to work with SV238, but if you have these slimmer camera body shapes, then everything will be fine, guys. And also another cool feature I wanted to show you guys is that the internal part of SvBony's OAG has the thread, and a lot of cameras like that, they also have thread over here. So what you can do, guys, you can place the camera inside of the helical focuser, you can lock the camera, and basically what's going on is that by just adjusting the position, the height of the camera, you can adjust the position of the prism. So in a lot of different off-axis guiders, like in this one, if you place your prism really low and cover your sensor, all you need to do is to take everything apart and then adjust the position of the prism. With SvBony SV238, yep, you don't have to disassemble everything. You just slide the position of the camera. Once the height of the prism that you desire is adjusted, you basically lock this screw back in, unscrew the camera so that you can take it out. And it's really important to unscrew the camera, because if the camera is screwed to the prism and this locking screw is locked, you will not be able to basically adjust the position of the focuser, and everything will be locked. This is something really important. So once you guys adjusted the position of the prism, you unscrew the camera, making sure that you can take it out, then you place it back in with aligning the sensor with the prism, you lock it using locking screws, and then you guys good to go. And yep, this is really something that I found really interesting with SV238, and something that I did not see on any different off-axis guiders. I mean, maybe I'm mistaken, I didn't use that many off-axis guiders, and if you've seen anything like that on a different models by different brands, just let me know in the comments below. Speaking of making things easier, let's talk about automating this OAG. I've designed a custom adapter that lets you connect an electronic focuser to it. I was inspired by Dark Sky Geek's video where he motorized his ZWO OAG focuser, and by the way, his version is more advanced since it's not just the adapter, but the electronic focuser that you can build up yourself with its own drivers. While I made just the bracket with supportive installation of an electronic focuser that basically you don't need to build up, you just buy it separately. I noticed that SvBony's version design allows you to attach an adapter over here, and as you can see, the design is pretty simple, but it allows me to refocus my OAG remotely if needed. Yes, you can still guide on slightly out of focus stars, but the guiding performance will be better on the focus stars, and also in some cases your stars in the off-axis guider might be really out of focus if you have filters from different sets and manufacturers rather than using parafocal filters. The point here is that not everybody needs an automated OAG, but if you do, then you might consider SvBony's off-axis guider simply because it can be easily upgraded to an automated one, and it's going to be just a fraction of cost of a dedicated electronic off-axis guider. Talking about an electronic focuser, I went with the well-known Gemini simply because it's more affordable, lighter by weight, and gets the job done just right. If this sounds like something that could level up your setup, I added a link to the adapter you can order to be printed and sent within the United States, as well as the link to the Gemini EF if you need to get one. In this part of the video, I want to show you the installation part of this bracket. So first things first, you really want to install the bracket before you mount everything to your imaging camera, and you start by unscrewing all the locking screws that you have on the off-axis guider. There are two locking screws for the camera and one for the helical focuser that I took off already. Then you take the bracket and you just install it on top of the helical focuser up until this part where it belongs, guys. And in order to do that, you need to slightly expand this mounting rig so that everything will be placed nicely and securely. This thing is a bit tight, but basically it's okay because when I was creating different models, I did a lot of them, and this is the best one in terms of being tight but secured. So yep, as you can see, you position it like that up until you hear the click. Yep. So you got it like so, and as you can see, it can freely rotate and you can place it anywhere however you like. But the best way to do that is, of course, when it goes and makes this like straight line and gonna be on top of your camera. Anyway, once the bracket is installed, you secure this ring using the fasteners that will be included, guys. Alright, like so, everything is secured. Now the next part, we need to install the coupler on the electronic focuser. So here is the coupler, and what I like about Gemini electronic focuser is the position of the shaft. As you can see, it's flat. So what I did with this one, I just placed and got two threads. I believe also, yes, M2 threads. So you got allocated in a way that it's gonna cover the shaft like so. You just place it all the way in and lock this coupler to the shaft using the screws that also will be included. With those, you gotta be careful, guys, because they're a bit small, but it's alright. Okay, next step is you gotta place this gear on top of the helical focuser, and as you can see, guys, over here on the internal part, I made this grip so that everything is placed nicely and securely, like so. But also, when you mount this gear, you want to make sure that you put it with the correct side. So as you can see, like when the gear is engaging with electronic focuser, you want to make sure that the side is correct, otherwise they're not going to be engaged like in this case. So you simply flip the gear, and as you can see now, they are fully engaged. So this is the bottom side and this is the top side. We're placing it on top of the helical focuser like so. And at this point, you don't need to worry about the correct position of the gear, as we're going to adjust it later. And now we're installing the electronic focuser on top of the bracket. Also here in my latest version of the adapter, I made these couple of grips in order to make sure that the electronic focuser stays secured. So we just slightly position it like so, making sure that it's engaged, and we gotta lock that and mount to the bracket here. And we do that by using the screws that come in the packaging with the electronic focuser itself. So we take the first screw and a washer, place it over here, like so. And the goal here is to slightly secure the electronic focuser and making sure it's attached to the bracket, but you don't need to fully fasten the screws just yet, because we gotta adjust the final position of the electronic focuser. So the first one was in, the second one, and yeah, finally you need to adjust the position of this gear, making sure that everything is engaging together, like so. And after it's all good, you finally secure these screws so that everything stays solid. Then you simply put your guide camera back in. Here are locking screws for the guide camera. And as a reminder, guys, the locking screw for the electronic focuser, the screw for the helical focuser, you just put it aside somewhere since we installed this bracket, like so. Alright, and that's how I put everything together. The final note I wanted to make is you sometimes, in some cases, might need to fasten this and this screw. Those two are responsible for the helical focuser within the OAG itself. And as you can see, guys, if I'm loosening them just a bit, here's the first one and the second one. Yep. Then it shakes a bit. And it's not related to the bracket, but that's the part that connects the helical focuser to the OAG itself over here. Here's the first screw. You just lock things like so. Yep, and everything is secured. One thing to note, my first version of the adapter does not support cameras with 90mm in diameter, and it works with a bit smaller camera bodies like this TopTech with IMX571 sensor and 80mm in diameter. In the meanwhile, I'm working on adjusting the model a bit to fit with 90mm diameter cameras as well. The fix is pretty simple, of course, and I have a few test models already, but I really want to polish my final version before the release, so stay tuned for an updated one if you guys are interested. Finally, I want to share a few quick tips for those who happen to touch on the off-axis guiding for their first time. First is the long side of your guide camera sensor should be parallel to the long side of the prism of the off-axis guiding, and that is done in order to maximize the amount of light that you can get on your guide camera sensor. Second, when mounting the off-axis guider, you want to make sure that the prism is not obstructing the view of your imaging camera, and the best position of the prism is towards one of the longest sides of the imaging sensor. And I know it's going to be a bit tough for some of the SvBony cameras since they have threaded connection, but still this is the best way to go. Finally, when focusing your off-axis guider, you need to get your main imaging camera in focus first, then you go to PHD2 and look at the picture of your guide camera. The fastest way to find the focus of the stars is to slide the camera within the imaging path first, then you lock the position of the camera with locking screws and do some final adjustments using the helical focuser. Wrapping the video up, I think SvBony SV238 is a really nice pick simply considering the price. The only real downside that I noticed is the problematic focusing of TopTech cameras that have a bit different body shape. On the other hand, you get a lot of value from the OAG itself, which beats other brands. The presence of two mounting plates with M50F4 and M48 threads is already a win in my opinion. Finally, it's super easy to automate SV238 with a custom adapter like mine, so if you're concerned about a bit out of focus stars and your rig is located at the remote location, then you can solve this problem as well. If you guys enjoyed watching this video, then consider giving that like button, also subscribing to the channel, and leave a comment below about your opinion on SV238 and the adapter that I made. I really hope to see you in my future videos, guys, and until next time.